Hey everybody, hey! Welcome. Hi, I'm Todd Nauck. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I see some of you have been waiting. Thanks so much. The first time I've been able to pre-schedule the broadcast. Learned how to do that so I can let you who have subscribed to my channel know that a broadcast is coming. Because I'm not hyping it on my other social media. I thought, how do I do this on YouTube? Oh, there's a whole schedule feature. So if you're just now tuning in, or if you're watching this as a rebroadcast, rewatching it later, make sure you subscribe to my channel. And when you click subscribe, there's a little bell symbol. Click on that bell, and you can set your notification preferences. So I'm so glad y'all are here, and really excited to continue on this X-Men sketch cover that we're working on. So this is our third broadcast for this sketch cover. Got an X-Men group shot. People have asked, how do you figure out how to draw a group shot? And that's what we've been working on. So now I did all the character layout here as one broadcast. Then the second broadcast was Wolverine, and now we're just going to tackle this character by character. Pretty much one character per broadcast until we get to the really tiny characters, maybe 2 or 3 characters per broadcast. But right now we're just going to focus on at least one character during that time. So tonight's broadcast is Nightcrawler. We're going to move here just to the our right of Wolverine and drop in Nightcrawler. So I'm going to tighten them up with pencils and drop the inks, answering your questions as we go as best I can while I focus on the artwork, and hopefully there'll be time that I can do a Q&A afterwards to close out the show, as we often do. So yeah, so glad you're here. Feel free to chat away, and so glad we can hang out. So let's flip the camera around and get started. Reposition the rig. So how's everybody doing tonight? Here on Friday night. Great, all right. We're gonna push the camera in close here on Nightcrawler. People doing good? All right, all right. I am good, I am good. Thanks for asking, gang. I am doing well. So we got Nightcrawler right here. So I just want to try to get the camera in as close as possible so you can see all the details. Nightcrawler's your favorite X-Man? Right on, he's one of my favorites too. So I got the Pentel Twist Erase mechanical pencil, HB 0.5 lead. We're just going to tighten up his face here. We're going to start dropping in the facial features. Your favorite is Iceman, another great character. Oh, thanks so much. Glad y'all enjoyed my Nightcrawler run. Love doing that book. If you hadn't had a chance to read it, all 12 issues are in trade paperback now. Nightcrawler Reborn and Nightcrawler Homecoming. Collect 6 issues at a time. So that collects all 12 issues of the series. How's it going tonight? It's going good. Just getting some X-Men going here. Can't wait for me to ink Bishop. Right on, yeah. What's my favorite Nightcrawler story? Probably the ones I got to draw with Chris Claremont. But I also really liked Ed McGuinness's work on Amazing X-Men, where they brought Nightcrawler back from the dead. I thought Ed did a fantastic job with that story. Who was my biggest influence drawing Nightcrawler? I believe that was the question. I only caught wasn't able to read the whole thing there. I believe it was asking who was my biggest Nightcrawler influence. For me, it's the 80s Nightcrawler artists. I'm an 80s kid, so that was that was when I discovered the X-Men, the mid 80s. So my favorite Nightcrawler artists, well, pretty much all the X-Men artists of the 80s. So Arthur Adams, Alan Davis, John Byrne, Paul Smith, Dave Cockrum. Dave Cockrum is the creator of Nightcrawler. So yeah, those are just some of my. Those would probably be my top Nightcrawler influences. Arthur Adams and Alan Davis being two of the most influential for me. I haven't had a chance to check out Simonson's Ragnarok book. I need to look into that. I'm glad. I'm glad you learned something from my videos. Really appreciate that. Get the fingers in there. That's a good joke there, chat. Am I familiar with Kitty Pryde? No, I'm not familiar with Kitty Pryde. Is she that little Hello Kitty character I see everywhere? Is that Kitty Pryde? Hello Kitty Pryde? Which look of Nightcrawler in the cartoons do I like best? Well, he didn't have that big of a role in the first X-Men cartoon. And Wolverine and the X-Men ran only one season. Both great cartoons, but my personal favorite, the one I like the most, is X-Men Evolution. So I'd say X-Men Evolution is my favorite cartoon Nightcrawler. It's my favorite cartoon X-Men in general. Pretty much everyone from that cartoon was probably my favorite version of the cartoon X-Men. How long does it take me to emotionally recover from making an inking mistake? Now I can pretty much, get over it pretty quickly. I don't let it devastate me for too long because I don't have time to wallow in the sadness. I've got to keep moving. Now, if I'm drawing a comic book page, I just grab the whiteout and correct the mistake and get it scanned in and sent on. The whiteout on the page, that doesn't matter. Now, if I'm doing a commission and I make a big mistake, then I got to start over because I can't give the client a faulty piece. So that can be pretty frustrating. But usually at that point, I've got it so well rendered out, I can skip a few steps. I can just lightbox the line work again and then re-ink, so I don't have to start over completely from scratch, just mostly from scratch. But mistakes happen, and you learn just to kind of roll with the punch. It's like we all make mistakes. And usually I can find a way to make the mistake not a mistake. Whiteout discount? Yes, I could offer a whiteout discount for the commission piece. That's right. Give you a rebate for the whiteout. Does Marvel still work with the Marvel way, or I didn't quite catch it? But I think you're asking about like how writers write the plots and scripts. Are they writing the Marvel way, where they write just a basic script or a basic plot outline, and the artist really gets to develop the story? visually off of that, and then the writer writes the dialogue based on what the artist has drawn, versus writing full script where the writer writes each panel, all the action in the panel, and all the dialogue that goes in each panel of each page. And Marvel still does both. And I've worked with both styles of writing. Like with Chris Claremont on Nightcrawler and Joshua Corin on Deadpool Too Soon. That was all written the Marvel way, Marvel style. With Robbie Thompson on Spider-Man Silk, Spider-Fly Effect, or with Elliot Kalin on Spider-Man Deadpool 21 and 22, or Thor Werewolf the Frost Giants. That was all written full script. So Marvel uses both. It really depends on the writer. How does the writer like to write? When I worked with Louise Simonson on my Iron Man Iron Age Dazzler story, she wrote Marvel style. Tom DeFalco wrote Marvel style on American Dream and the Mr. and Mrs. Spider-Man comics. All right, I think I got that pretty well roughed in. Let's get the other side of his tail here. Make sure that's in place where I want. Why does Nightcrawler have this heavy forehead shadow? That would be a question for the creator of Nightcrawler, Dave Cockrum. I do the heavy shadowed forehead because I love the design of Nightcrawler. I think it really makes him unique, and it honors the creator, his original vision, Dave Cockrum. So that's why I like putting the heavy shadow there. Not that I always have to do it. I mean, the story might call for it to not be a heavy shadow, but I really like it. And I do it pretty much every time. I'd say 99% of the time. So I'm using the 01 Pigma Micron here now. What Nightcrawler story would I like to do that hasn't been done yet? That's a great question. I don't know, I'd have to think about that. I guess essentially I'd have to make up the story, so that means I'd be writing that story. Which would be fun. When do you know it's time to let people start seeing your work? Well, depends on what your goal is. What do you hope to do with your art? What is your dream there? You got a Ninja Turtle versus Batman sketch variant, but you don't know what to draw on it? I got a couple of ideas there for you. Maybe a Ninja Turtle, maybe Batman. How about Joker versus Shredder? Mixed up a little bit. How do you know when to call an illustration done? Trial and error. When you start to overwork too many pieces, you learn when to stop doing that. And if I'm ever in doubt, then I stop. And I come back to it a little bit later and look at it with a fresh eye and see what is truly needed here. Or is it done? You want to do what I do? Right on. Awesome. Gotta tell you, it's a fun job. It's a very challenging job, but definitely worth doing. Have I read the Vigilante series? No, I have not. Is it good? Am I still going to put the Deadpool Easter egg? Probably not. Not on this cover, no. Probably not going to do that. See if we can push in a little tighter here for you guys. What was the most fun comic I drew? Man, pretty much any comic book I get to work on is I'm going to find a way to have fun. It was a lot of fun drawing Nightcrawler, absolutely. Young Justice was a lot of fun. Doing my Create Your Own series Wild Guard, yeah. If I had to choose one Ninja Turtle to die, who would I choose? I don't want that kind of power, man. I don't want to be able to. I don't want to be the one to say which turtle lives and which one dies. Ah, tomorrow is 50 days till Christmas? Awesome. Let the countdown begin. Can I do a tutorial on backgrounds? Someday. If I make a mistake on a commission this big, what do I do? Well, I hope and pray that doesn't happen. All just depends on what the mistake is. And how I can recover from it. You're the only one excited for Thanksgiving? I like Thanksgiving too. So have any tips for someone who wants to learn how to ink? Just kind of go for it. That's what I did. Pull a Bob Ross and act like you meant to do it. Yes, exactly. That's also kind of a Pee Wee Herman sort of mode there too. I meant to do that. Which Robin do you like the best and why? All the Robins are pretty awesome. I definitely dig Dick Grayson. He was the first Robin I encountered as a little kid. But I'd have to say my personal favorite, is Tim Drake, because I got to draw him for so many years in the Young Justice series. Is knowing how to ink necessary skill for pencilers? No, not at all. If you're teamed up with an inker, the inker will cover all that. You'll want to be in communication with your inker and discuss how to approach the art and what he needs from you, the information he needs from you and your pencils, but you don't have to know how to ink. In fact, when I broke in, I was not a good inker. That's why I didn't do much inks the first many years of my career. I didn't start doing my own inks until 2010, when I started to finally get fairly comfortable and confident with my inking skills. So no, you don't have to know how to ink. But just by the fact of being in the industry, working in comics, drawing and studying the craft, you're going to develop some knowledge about inks just from repeated study. What's more important, stick figures or mannequins? I'm assuming that's in relation to drawing, and I'm not quite sure how you perceive those, like what you mean. Stick figure, like a mannequin is a physical drawing tool, but stick figures is what you put down on paper. So they're pretty different sort of things, unless you're thinking of something else that I'm not aware of. So I couldn't say one is more important than the other at this time, based on what I think you're saying. Yes, you did catch the live drawing. Welcome. Glad you're stoked. Are you from California? Because you used the word stoked. What are drawing fundamentals? Shape, line, shading. Because essentially what I'm doing is creating shapes with lines, creating form, creating mass, lighting, shading, things like that. So those would be some of the fundamentals. Would you rather be Spider-Man or Batman? Wow, that's a really interesting question. I personally probably would rather be Spider-Man. I mean, being Batman's great and all, but I don't know. I think I just like Spider-Man more. What are good books or tips to improve inking? I don't know of any inking books. I don't know any books. I mean, they cover inking and how to draw comics the Marvel way, but I never really read that section, and I developed my inking skills by trial and error. But I don't really know of any other books. Oops, I just slid right off the page there. I just inked in this muscle here, so I don't think you missed too much. Apologize for that. Can I draw Arrow from the CW later on? Maybe. I haven't watched the show, so I'm not really familiar with the character, the show character. I'm way behind on all those superhero shows, so it probably wouldn't be too high on my list to get drawn at the moment. But, you know, I never say never. Have I ever shown a drawing I loved to a publisher and they tore it apart? That they physically tore it apart, or they just critiqued the heck out of it and just like tore it apart verbally? I would say neither has happened. They've definitely never torn apart the artwork, like physically torn the artwork apart. No. Now someone has spilled coffee on my artwork, and so I got it back after many years of it being lost, and an editor found it and returned it to me, and there were big coffee stains on it. I think I figured out why it was lost. So, but torn it apart, and I'm sure it was an accident, and they probably felt terrible about it. But no, I never had someone tear my work apart. Can I draw Rocket Raccoon sometime? Absolutely, I could draw him sometime. No plans at the moment, but you never know. Which do I like better, drawing traditionally or digitally? Well, I'd probably say drawing traditionally because I've done it all my life, and I'm just now learning digital, but I see the benefits of both. Saw a question about perspective and how much I think about perspective. I wasn't able to read the whole thing before it faded out, but I think I mean, to one degree or another, I think a lot about perspective. How much input do you have with the colorist? Depends on the colorist I'm working with. Like the colorist I work with the most right now is Rochelle Rosenberg, and I love her colors. She colored my Nightcrawler series. She also has colored much of my. She colored my Thor one-shot that just came out, my Deadpool two-parter, Spider-Man Deadpool two-parter that just came out. So, love working with her. She's fantastic, and she's very open to my input. You know, I don't like micromanage, or at least I try not to micromanage the book, but like what I see for the colors. But I'll give her notes and make sure she has a copy of the story so she knows what's going on in the story, and pretty much what the writer writes explains what's going on for her to achieve the color vision. But I'll send if there's reference, specific character costume reference, I try to supply her with that so that she doesn't have to, question what color a certain thing should be. Or if I draw something specific that I would hope that she would color it a certain way, I'll send those notes or reference along, hopefully to make her life easier. So yeah, it's good to have a good relationship with your colorist because they do, they make you look extra good. How do I organize my ideas before starting a sketch? I'd love to learn more about what you mean by organizing my ideas. If you can unpack that for me a little bit, that'd be greatly appreciated. Hopefully I'll catch your expounding on that. Just want to make sure I answer the right question, or answer the question as accurately as possible. All right, so I've been flipping between the 0, 1 and the 0, 8. Just depending on the size of the line weight that I'm looking for. Oops, sorry, don't mean to be shaking the camera there. Oh, it's because I'm bumping what the rig is connected to. What are the thin lines across Wolverine? What are these lines for? Is this what you're referring to? What are these lines? Those are wrinkles from his glove bunching up around his wrist. What is Captain America's max bench? I don't know what that is, but I remember as a kid there would, or is it the Marvel handbooks? They kind of give a rough estimate of what each superhero's strength level is. But I'll tell you this much: it's more than I can do. Have I ever spilt chlorine bleach on my artwork? No. No, I have not. Why? I would hope to never have chlorine bleach in my studio space where I have artwork out and about. How do I feel about the Astros winning the World Series? I think it's great. Their first win in franchise history. That's pretty awesome. So, it's an exciting series. I didn't catch all the games, but I did catch games 5 and 7. Have I ever mixed Doritos and Skittles for a party snack? No, I have not. That's madness. Madness, I say. That flavor and crunch combination does not sound appealing to me. Now, have you done that? Have you mixed Skittles with Doritos? And if so, what was the taste sensation? What was the experience? Because Skittles are more of a chewy candy, where Doritos are, all about the crunch. So I would just imagine that would just be really difficult to eat, and just doesn't fruity mixed with the nacho cheese flavor. Are there ever any conventions in Nashville? I don't know. I think there might be, but I think I've heard about that, like some smaller conventions, maybe a Wizard World convention, but I don't know of any at the moment. Not to say there isn't. What was the first convention I ever exhibited at? My first convention as a pro was where I actually had work out was San Diego Comic-Con. When I first started working for Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool, when he was doing his Image Comics studio, that's where I got my big break. And so what was the experience like? It was crazy. It was in, I think it was year 2, so the third San Diego Comic-Con of Image Comics, and it was a madhouse. It was so packed and so overwhelming, but awesome. The Image booth was just hopping all, whoops, sorry about that, just inking the sides of his nose here, boot, doot, 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 like that. Have I seen the new Planet of the Apes movie? No, I have not. I have not. Looked interesting, though. So I'm going to put a lot of focus here on the face here for the moment. Okay. You mean what things to place and how to safely place each object of the composition? How do you organize? Oh, okay. Well, I just kind of thank you for clarifying. So glad I caught your clarification. I appreciate that. You know, I just kind of, for me, the way I approach it is, when I approach drawing any characters, is I love comics, I love these characters. So doing something like this is actually relational for me. I'm drawing characters that I care about. So I think of them and their personalities, who they are, who they, you know, how do they react? What are their relationships? Like putting Scott next to Jean, Wolverine over here next to Nightcrawler, you know, they're in love, they're best friends, you know, so I consider these things. I consider power sets, character size, like how big is Colossus versus how big is Wolverine? There's a great difference in between those two. Who's in the foreground, who's in the medium ground, who's in the background, or middle ground, I should say, and the background. So I just start to see the scene in my head. Not super clearly, it's not a crystal clear image, it's more of a ghost image. And then I edit as I go. So I consider who are the characters, who do I want, so like doing a piece like this, I wanted to put Wolverine up front. So, sorry about that, gang. Looks like the internet gagged there, but we're back. So I'm just going to consider each character and how they move. So a lot of those are just some of the thoughts that go into my organization of putting together a piece like this. Then the design elements of the different aspects of a character, like Nightcrawler's tail, how it, you know, comes from off his back, around, then over, you know, so I'm considering what is the design element, where are the lines going to line up. That's very important as well. Any tips for cross-hatching? Yes, I do. If you're going to do cross-hatching, consider your light source, because what you're doing essentially is shadow. Consider the shape and form of your character and the area that you're cross-hatching. It's not just putting a bunch of X's on the page. Now, this isn't quite cross-hatching, but it is an aspect of cross-hatching. I'm going to have my lines going to show the shape and form of the muscle. Now I might cut in with a different lines in a different direction, but I'm still considering the shape and form. Because I've seen young artists come bring their artwork to a convention to show me, and they've just thrown a bunch of crisscross lines down everywhere, and it doesn't enhance the illustration. It doesn't give shape, form, or shadow. It just looks like a bunch of lines that flatten the artwork, and you don't want to flatten your artwork. You want to maintain that form and mass. So you want to be very careful when you're doing your cross hatching. There's got to be a reason for it. It's not just lines on a page. So really consider the shadow and the shape. What is my advice for artists for exhibiting at their first con and they're drawing on the convention floor? One, have fun. Two, don't overcommit. If you're not able to take commissions home to finish at home, you don't want to rush out any commissions on the con floor. You want to give your client the best work possible. And have fun. Just have fun with it. If you can, try to be personable with the people that come by your table. Give them a good experience. Give them as much attention as you can. Because that's the fun thing about doing a convention is the relation is a chance to get out and meet the people who enjoy your work, or hopefully introduce new people to your work, and hopefully develop a new fan out of the interaction. So I've had the opportunity to do both. Gives him more of that, more volume to his tail. Just kind of a little fullness. So I'm going to come in here and lightly erase just the pencil parts of Nightcrawler before I fill in the blacks. Sorry about that, gang. An Amber Alert just came in. Don't know if that registered on the broadcast, but if it did, that's what happened. So I'm using a Statler Mars plastic eraser, my trusty, dusty Statler Mars plastic eraser. So I like to erase my pencil lines before filling in the blacks. Just makes it easier than filling it in, then erasing, and then the black comes up. I know a lot of people ask, well, doesn't the ink come up off the board? It can. It can also sometimes tear, like if I spot this. Now I've noticed when I spot with my Pentel Pocket brush pen, if I spot this, then erase, for some reason it tears. I don't know why, if it's because of the way the ink absorbs into the paper and compromises it, but that's why I do this step after. So this is as I said, the Pentel Pocket brush pen. Just going to come in here and fill in the black areas. Is it okay to practice drawings in class? Well, I have to say, that is a question for your teacher, because they're the ones in charge in your class. I cannot speak for them. So you should ask your teacher, can you practice your art in class? I think we both know what their answer is probably going to be. Do I plan on switching to digital when I become more comfortable with drawing digitally? No, not entirely, no. Right now I use digital for my layouts because it makes it easier to edit the visuals in the layout stage. If I lay out a page and Spider-Man should be larger, then instead of erasing and redrawing, I can just select, enlarge, reposition, and then done. So that saves me a lot of time. But even if I were to, and I have done this when the deadlines aren't tight, I've penciled digitally, but I print that out in blue line and then ink traditionally because I like having the one-of-a-kind original piece of artwork when I'm finished. If you draw completely digital, there is no original artwork. So, now for those that do draw completely digitally, I don't fault them for that. You know, that's the way they create, and it can be amazing work, and that's what we shoot to do. And there will be times where I draw completely digitally. In fact, my Jack-O-Lantern comic strips are drawn completely digitally. The Wild Guard story I'm working on is being drawn completely digitally. But that's because I'm, trying new things, practicing, getting comfortable with drawing digitally. But I do not foresee myself ever giving up doing traditional art, even if I become super proficient at digital. I'll probably also continue to do traditional because I like both. Where do you get a pen like? Sorry about that, gang. This internet just does not want to stay connected. It's really bad today. And there we go. There is Nightcrawler. Oops, sorry about that, gang. Keeps sliding off the board there. I just added a little shadow underneath his chin here just to give him a little more pop, and then just beefing up a few of the lines here. Smoothing some stuff out so it's nice and clean. And toit like a tiger. There we go. Nightcrawler. So what I'll do is I'll flip the camera around and we'll chat a little bit, and I'll do a little Q&A, answer some of the questions I might have missed. So let's flip the camera around. Hey gang, let me reposition the camera clamp here. So thanks so much for hanging out with me while I drew Nightcrawler here. Let's just do a little Q&A to wrap up the show. Let's see. Will I eventually take this to Copics or watercolor? Copics. Won't do watercolor. Watercolor would really warp this sketch cover. It's not made for watercolor. But there's Nightcrawler there. I'll post a shot of him on my social media here soon. But yeah, this will, after we get done with the line work, this is going to take a while. We're only 2 characters in of 18 characters, so then we'll get to a point where we'll do maybe 2 characters at a time, but right now at this size, 1 character at a time for each broadcast. So it'll be a while, but we'll get there. We will get there, gang. So let's see. I think there are a few questions I missed. Let me see what I got. Do I have any hobbies other than drawing? Not really. I mean, I like to collect some stuff, some comics, a few action figures, things like that. I like to hang out with friends, play cards, watch TV. So yeah, so those are some, but most of the time, if I'm not drawing for work, I'm drawing for fun. Will I be doing this 1 character at a time, or for this whole piece? Pretty much, yes. Like I said just a moment ago, maybe 2 characters at a time. But your question had already come in when I'd mentioned that. So, what white pens do I use to ink, if any? I use the Uniball Signo white gel pen, which you'll see me use oftentimes here in my YouTube videos. Let's see, okay, got caught up on those. Hobbies, yep. Do you have much time to think? How much time do you think it will take you to complete this drawing? At this rate, it's going to take probably a dozen broadcasts. So we're in it for the long haul. This is the nature of the beast. When you're doing a big group shot like this, it's a time investment. It's not something you just churn out in one day. Something like this would probably, if I weren't doing the broadcast and I was working full work days, it'd probably take me about 2 days to do the line work. But we're breaking it down 1 hour at a time. 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So averaging about 1 hour at a time. So it's going to take a while, and probably about what it would take me on average. And this is including colors to do. If I weren't doing a broadcast, but if I'm not talking, if I'm not having to think about other things, I'm just focusing on the artwork, I can move a little bit faster. But because we're doing the broadcast, I'm answering questions, and my brain's thinking about answering what you have asked, then it slows me down here drawing. So that's why it will take this a little bit longer than if I were to do it at home traditionally, or like in my studio traditionally, if it was just a regular work day. So let's see. We got a lot of questions come by. I want to try to tackle as many of these as I can. Thank you so much, gang, for participating. Y'all have a lot of great questions. I love seeing what y'all have to ask and want to know. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. Do you plan on doing another frequently asked questions? Yes. In fact, I was just shooting one today. I hope to have it uploaded here in the next week. Will you be doing any videos of inking every X-Men individually? Pretty much. As they get smaller, we'll be doubling up, so that will move things along pretty quickly as we get further into the background. Like with Angel and Iceman, they're pretty small. I could probably do both of them in one broadcast. Let's see. Do sketch covers bleed through when colored with Copics usually? No. No, not so bad that it affects the comic book on the inside. I haven't experienced that. Let's see. Do you have a complete set of favorite Copics you bring to cons, or do you change from con to con? I have my travel set. Like, these are the ones. These are my Copic travel markers. Sometimes I will change them out if I realize I don't use this color as much as that color, and I'm using this color more. I will switch that out. I'll edit my collection, my travel collection as needed. But yeah, I can't bring all my markers. That would be too much. So I bring the ones that get the job done on the con floor, which works out pretty well. So am I expecting to have this done by this time next year? It shouldn't take us a full year to do, as long as I can broadcast regularly. Won't you take those Doctor Who Funkos out of the box? No, I don't plan to take my Funkos out of the box because I love the packaging. I love the packaging with a figure inside. I just think it's really cool, and they stack a lot nicer, and they're easier to clean. Like when I have to dust, I don't have to dust all those nooks and crannies. I can just dust off the square, so much easier. What X-Men action figures are near your TV? That's the 1985 lineup. Colossus, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Storm, Rogue, and Cyclops. Just need a Kitty Pryde and a Rachel Summers, and I'm set. They just haven't made them yet. Are there any characters you get tired of drawing? No, not really. Am I going to be doing more Jack-O-Lantern now that October is over? Yes, I will. Been working on another strip right now. Hope to have it up in the next week or two. It all just depends on my work schedule, as how often I'll be putting up Jack-O-Lantern comic strips. And if you haven't heard of Jack-O-Lantern, come to my Twitter or Instagram. I'm posting those, and or just search Jack-O-Lantern, M-A-N-T-U-R-N. That's his last name. Jack-O-Lantern, the pumpkin that walks like a man. 3 strips are up right now. He has his own Instagram and Twitter account as well. How long did my Secret War cover take you to do? It's awesome. I think maybe you're referring to Secret Empire, the one with all those heroes. That took me 4 days. I think that took me 4 days to draw, like 4 long work days. Yeah, took my colorist about as long to color as well. We both went blind, but our site has since returned. Is it like a mural from Commander Mark from Draw City? I'm not familiar with Commander Mark and Draw City. I'll have to look that up. Did I enjoy drawing the Thor one-shot? Yes, Thor Where Walk the Frost Giants. I did enjoy drawing that, absolutely. It's on shelves now, gang, so go pick it up. Classic era Thor. Is Jack-O-Lantern my creation? He is 100% my creation. I own that character completely. Thanks so much for the kind words. Can anyone send you a piece to critique? I get a lot of people asking me for critiques, and so much so that I'm not able to accommodate them all. It would become another full-time job. So unfortunately, the best way to get a critique from me is to meet me at a convention where I can talk to you face-to-face. Do I have any rare comics or original pieces of comic art from other creators? Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm glad you got to see my full broadcast. Welcome. Oh, my pleasure. Glad I can answer your question. Appreciate the kind words. How long does a Post-it note take? The headshots take roughly 20 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the character and the detail. What is the one character that you have not drawn yet but want to? I don't know. I've drawn a lot of my favorite characters. I mean, whether it be in a comic or on a cover or as a commission. So I pretty much, I've gotten to draw a lot of my favorites and hope to continue to draw them more and more. Nice Wheeljack figure back there. Thank you. That is the Wheeljack and Ironhide are the Masterpiece Transformer collection. Do my kids draw too? No, they don't. Sadly to say, I do not have children, so they don't exist, so they're not able to draw. But I am old enough to have children, but I just don't have any. Did you see they were releasing David S. Pumpkins Funko? I did not know that. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I might have to get one. Will I do a digital drawing for you, please? Digital drawing video. I hope to. I just have to find the right software to record my video and the drawing, digital drawing and recording the commentary to go with it. So as soon as I get that going, we'll start seeing some digital videos here in the future. Let's see. You draw well, but your shading is bad, so it ruins your art. Any tips? One, you got to keep practicing through that rough area. You're going to do a lot of cruddy drawings before they get better. Consider your light source and your shadow, and just keep practicing it. Because that's what I did. I can only speak from my experience, and it's just like I kept doing it wrong, get a little bit better, get a little bit better, get a little bit better. So you got to just keep at it. How long does a Jack-O-Lantern strip take? How long does a Jack-O-Lantern strip take on? Are you asking how long it takes to draw a Jack-O-Lantern strip? To pencil it, ink it, color it, and letter it takes me a couple of days because drawing digitally is something I'm learning, so it's slower. But I hope to get faster at it. What was the site to see all your cover art? I don't have a site that features all my cover art, unfortunately. But you can see a lot of my art, and I usually post my covers along with my art on the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page and Instagram. So on Facebook, just search Art of Todd Nauck. On Instagram, search @ToddNauck. Do I have a Snapchat? Yes, but I never use it. Mark Kistler in Secret City. Yeah, okay. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, that's new to me. Did I ever have a bad run-in with an artist? No. You loved my post-apocalyptic Mario. I'm so glad you did. That was fun to draw, fun to create. When you were a beginner at drawing, which character did you want to draw most, and what challenges were there at the time? Character I wanted to draw most? It was any character. I loved drawing anybody then. Love drawing just about anybody now. So, what were the challenges? Just getting better at anatomy, getting better at gestures, movement, figure work, things like that. Background, just everything it takes to get to this place I was terrible at and had to do a lot of cruddy drawings to get to the point where I started getting good, or at least good enough to get hired. Who's my favorite Transformer? Oh, that's like asking a parent who's their favorite child. I like a lot of the Transformers. Ironhide and Wheeljack are up there. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Prowl, Jazz, Brawn, Huffer, Hoist, Hound. I mean, pretty much all Generation 1. And Starscream, I mean, Decepticons, Starscream, the Insecticons, Constructicons, Predacons. I mean, so many favorites. Skywarp, Thundercracker, Ramjet, Dirge. A lot of favorites, as you can see. In fact, I need to get the Starscream one. Starscream and Megatron Masterpiece ones. Favorite Ninja Turtle? I'd say Donatello. Used to be Raphael, and after that it was Michelangelo. Right now I'm Donatello, so it won't be long before Leonardo's my favorite. Let's see, get caught up. Boy, y'all are asking tons of questions. Really appreciate all the interaction, gang. Any upcoming cons on the East Coast? Or where can we see your list of upcoming cons? Haven't made my 2018 schedule yet. Probably will be at New York Comic Con next October. Don't see any reason why I wouldn't be there. ToddNauck.com. ToddNauck.com is where I post all of my convention information. So you can go there, you can click on the RSS feed to get email notifications when I update it. So you can always check there, especially if it's getting close to the time of a convention in your area. You can go to my website because by then I will have posted if I'll be in that area or not. If you don't see anything, that means not. But if I am, I will have a post there. You see the DVD VHS behind me in every show. What is the VHS video that has been there from from day one? It is a blank tape. I should hit play and see what shows I have recorded on there. I have no idea what's on there. That's probably, when was the last time I was able to record a show? 2007? So it's probably got episodes of The Office or 24 on there, more than likely. Like first run, more than likely. Because that's how my wife and I watched TV. We would just record the shows. We couldn't be there because we don't have cable, so we didn't have a DVR. Still don't have cable, still don't have a DVR. But we can't record our shows on videotape anymore, which is just as well. Who's my favorite hero? At Marvel, Kitty Pryde. At DC, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Which colleagues you started out with back in the Liefeld days do you still consider your rivals? None. I don't consider any of my Extreme Studio mates rivals. We were not like that. We were a brotherhood. We supported each other, at least from my experience. We supported each other. We tried to do the best work that we could because we were young, but no, we weren't rivals. We weren't like backbiting or backstabbing. And anyone who wasn't there long, and that was so long ago, I don't remember. So Dan Frega, Jeff Matsuda, Chap Yape, Andy Park, Larry Stucker, Norm Ratman, Danny, Mickey, John Sabal, we were all in it for each other, trying to do the best work we could. So definitely a brotherhood. Oh, hey guys, Annette's here. Annette showed up for work. Annette wants me to let you know why I keep the DVD VCR converter there, so that I can transfer a lot of my old VHSs to DVDs. It's just a chore I haven't done. Thank you, Annette. The one time Annette shows up and she's critiquing my answers. Oh, what's next, Annette? Sorry, I got another note from Annette. Guys, why do I employ Annette? Why do I keep Annette on the payroll? Annette, no, don't even, Annette, no. No, just go, Annette. I got questions to answer. Annette's on a permanent timeout here. Let's see. Let's see if I can catch up on a few more questions here. Did I enjoy my trip to New Zealand? New Zealand? Take two. New Zealand, and will I come back? Yes, I did. It was a lot of fun. Great meeting everyone at Armageddon Expo. New Zealand's an awesome country. Got to see so many great sites and attractions there in New Zealand, and I'd love to come back. I hope they'll invite me out again someday. Favorite Office character? Oh, man. I like them all. I mean, Jim, Michael, Dwight, Pam, Creed, Angela. They're all great. It's because they all come together, It's like without one. Andy Bernard. Oh, I love the Nard dog. So yeah, hard to say one. But I'd probably say Michael Scott's probably my favorite. I mean, gosh, he was such a great character. So good. Michael Scott should have won more awards for his portrayal of Michael Scott because that was comedic genius. Check out the OBS program for screen capture. Yes, I've heard about that. Oh, it's free. Okay, I'll have to look about that. Mad About You reruns. I used to love Mad About You back in '92, but I cannot rewatch that show now. It just doesn't hold the same allure for me that it did all those years ago. Do I find it challenging to draw shiny characters like Silver Surfer? It can be challenging, but the challenge is part of the fun. It's like why we play video games. Video games are challenging, but it's fun because you're trying to achieve an end goal. So in a sense, yes, it is challenging, but not so challenging that it discourages me. What artists do I look up to? Oh, so many artists. I mean, I'll answer the question this way. My 4 biggest artistic influences as a teenager: Arthur Adams, Rick Leonardi, Walter Simonson, and Alan Davis. They were the ones that really helped move me forward in this is what I want to do. I want to be just like these guys. Of course, I didn't become just like those guys. I became me, but they were my training wheels that really influenced my work as a teenager. Man, a lot of great questions here. I'm going to try to answer them all, gang, but at some point I guess I will have to wrap this up. But because we can't sit here all night, but we'll hang out. We're just having a chill Friday night. Let's see. Okay, getting caught up here. Since watching your videos, you've learned a lot for your inking techniques, and want to thank you for the awesome videos. Well, you're very welcome. Annette's going to have you sleeping on the couch tonight. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Maybe Annette's sleeping on the couch tonight. I Annette should go back to her apartment and go to sleep. Let's see. And then come into the studio on time when it's time to produce a video. But we lovingly tease Annette. What's the most challenging thing for you to draw while drawing comic book pages? In drawing comic book pages, you're drawing everything that exists, so the challenges are always changing. Redrew your Batman Beyond drawing, looks better. Awesome, right on. Uh-oh, Annette. Oh, Annette, I don't have my glasses on. Yes, that's right. Annette was saying, I sleep with my wife, so Annette sleeping here, that would be weird. That's right, because Annette is an employee here at the Todd Nauck studios. Exactly, Annette, you're absolutely right. We've always kept that above board. There's never been hanky-panky between me and Annette. Let's see. Ah, thanks so much. Thanks for the kind words, gang. Please come to Brazil. I'd love to come to Brazil. Favorite Marvel movie? Thor Ragnarok. Have y'all seen it? No spoilers, because some people haven't seen it yet, so this is a spoiler-free zone. Don't want to have to block anyone. So, Thor Ragnarok, so much fun. Please go see it this weekend. I think you'll have a good time. Go with low expectations. I think you'll have a great time. Do I plan on doing any more Instagram Lives? Absolutely, absolutely. I'll probably do more 10-minute Q&As. So, see you there. Do I know James Rice? James Rice. Yes, I do. I mean, we haven't met personally, but we have interacted online. Oh, you thought Annette was my wife? No. My wife is Dawn. Annette is my production assistant. Because and for those of you who just tuned in, Annette is a joke. Whenever I flub up a line, or something I'm trying to say, or I say something stupid, I say, this is live TV people, I'm working without Annette. Working without Annette, because Annette never shows up to work. See, it's a play on words. So Annette is this running joke character that works here in my studio, but we never see her hear from Annette. So I just want to keep that above board there so that everyone knows that Annette is a joke character. She does exist, but only in our imaginations here in this. But I think I'm going to do an Annette contest, sometime. So when I figure out how to do that, I'll let y'all know if I can do that. So, do I speak any other languages? Not fluently, no. Favorite character from Masters of the Universe to draw? I haven't really drawn a lot of Masters of the Universe, so I couldn't say I have a favorite character to draw. But there are a lot of great characters. So Annette doesn't exist. She does exist in our interaction here. Me and you, the viewer. So yes, she does exist. But she is... It's just a running gag. So, I don't want anyone to think that I have an assistant here that I'm having inappropriate relations with. I don't want anyone to think that. So that's why I wanted my wife comes in and I pretend that she is Annette because she's someone I'm interacting with, and since I made the running joke about Annette, so that's the whole thing about Annette. So I wanted to keep the gag going for as long as I could, but things have gotten sideways here, so I want to make sure it's all above board. Everything is above board. If I have to bring my wife in here to introduce herself, then if she's willing to, she's never appeared on camera, she might not ever do that, but I'm getting the head shake no, so, but there's no one on my payroll. I do not pay anyone to help me do this. But we will keep the running gag going. But now y'all are in the joke. Y'all are in on it. Y'all know all the ins and outs of it. Of course, everyone knew. I think many people knew that it was a joke because why would I keep someone employed who never shows up at the studio? That's the running joke. So Annette is your wife. Yes, in a sense, yes. In the role of Annette. Is my wife, yes. Have you ever drawn Master Splinter? I don't think I have. What do you do when you're tired of what you do, but you like what you do? That is a brain-breaking question. I'll tell you what. What do you do when you're tired of what you do, but you like what you do? Just take a little rest. Go have a bowl of Apple Jacks. Maybe watch 15 minutes of The Office. Come back. Hopefully you got a fresh eye. I'm assuming you're talking about artwork or whatever it is you do. And would I ever work on a TM Ninja Turtle comic? Sure. See, challenging character you drew as a beginner and why? I think we discussed it. We already discussed that. I think I already answered that. Sorry if you missed it. There was no single character that was challenging. Just drawing in general was challenging. What is the meaning of life? 42. 42. Please include Annette in a Jack-o'-lantern strip. Interesting. That'd be an interesting crossover. Got me thinking there. Got me thinking. That's interesting. I like that. Gang, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Annette. I'm not... Annette. Don't point back at me, Annette. Oh, guys, we got to wrap this broadcast up. So good hanging out with y'all. Thanks so much for hanging out with me while I drew. Thanks so much for asking questions, interacting. This is a really fun broadcast, a fun way just to hang on. Oh, first-time watcher, so glad you're here. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my future broadcasts and videos that I upload. So, and that welcome goes to all the first-time watchers. So glad y'all are here. Yeah, I appreciate everyone's support. Y'all are awesome. If you want to see more of my work and more of my broadcasts, like on Facebook or on Instagram, all the links are below. They will be, I will edit them into the description of this broadcast when we're done here. I'll go and I'll edit that in. But you'll find them on any of my videos. All the links to all my social media are there. Come and follow me. Come and follow me because we have a good time on all those networks as well. So, and like I said at the beginning of the show, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to click subscribe, then click on the bell and adjust your notification settings so that when I do more live broadcasts, you'll get notified. So, gang, thanks again. Hope you all have an awesome weekend. Hope you get a chance to see Thor Ragnarok, and I'll see y'all again real soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.